The classroom door slammed open so hard, the hinges screamed. Madison Harper froze mid-step. Her lesson plan clutched in trembling hands. 27 pairs of eyes turned toward her cold. Calculating. Predatory. Fresh meat. Someone whispered from the back row. The smell hit her first. Stale cigarettes mixed with energy drinks and something darker. Something that made her fingers twitch toward memories she'd buried deep. Room 317 at Jefferson High looked more like a war zone than a classroom. Desks overturned. Graffiti covering every wall. A basketball hoop made from a trash can hung from the ceiling. Mason Rodriguez sat on the teacher's desk. Combat boots planted where lesson plans should be. 6'3", 200 pounds of muscle and rage. The scar running from his left eyebrow to his jaw twitched as he smiled. "You lost, lady?" His voice carried the kind of authority that came from years of making people hurt. Madison's hands stopped shaking. Not from calm. From control. 23 years of practice, keeping the dragon chained. She stepped into the room, heels clicking against cracked linoleum. "I'm your new math teacher, Miss Harper." The laughter started low, building like thunder before a storm. A girl with purple streaks in her hair, Brooklyn something, according to the roster flicked, a lighter open and closed. Open and closed. The sound echoed like gunshots in Madison's memory. Math teacher? Brooklyn's smile revealed a gold tooth. The last 3 quit. One lasted 2 days. Another made it a week before we found him crying in his car. She leaned forward. "What makes you special?" Madison set her bag on the floor. Carefully, deliberately. Inside, the dragon stirred. Recognizing the dance? These weren't just troubled kids. This was a pack establishing dominance, and she'd walked into their territory alone. "Everyone take your seats." Her voice came out steady, professional, nothing like the growl building in her chest. Nobody moved. Mason slid off the desk, his crew flanking him like soldiers. 7 of them, all seniors, all wearing matching black hoodies, with some symbol she couldn't quite see. They moved with coordination that whispered of darker things than detention. I said. Madison's hand rose to point at an empty chair. She caught herself. That gesture, that exact angle, her grandfather's gesture before he'd— "You said what?" Mason stepped closer. Close enough, she could see the prison tattoo peeking above his collar. Close enough to smell the violence radiating off him like cologne. "See? You're confused about how things work here. This is our room. Our rules." The temperature in the room dropped, or maybe that was just her. The ice creeping through her veins. The old training whispering strategies. 17 ways to drop him using just her pinky. The pencil on the desk could puncture his. "Sit. Down." 2 words, but something in them made Brooklyn's lighter freeze mid-flick. Mason's eyes narrowed. He'd heard it too. That thing underneath. The thing she'd spent 7 years burying under cardigans and teaching certificates. His hand moved to his pocket. Slow. Deliberate. "Make me." The words hung between them like a blade. Madison smiled. It wasn't a teacher's smile. For just a second. Just a heartbeat. It was something else entirely. Something that made the kid closest to the door take an involuntary step back. "Mr. Rodriguez." She picked up the attendance sheet. Scanned it like she was reading his future. 17 years old. 3 suspensions for fighting. 1 expulsion overturned because your mother begged the board. Her eyes met his. Your father's doing 15 to 20 upstate. Armed robbery. Your older brother died in a gang shooting 2 years ago. You live with your grandmother on Maple Street. She works 3 jobs to keep you in school. The room went cemetery quiet. Mason's face cycled through emotions. Surprise. Anger. Something that might have been fear. "How do you— I do my homework." Madison set the paper down. "Just like you're going to do yours. Starting today. You think you know me?" His voice cracked slightly. The leader facade slipping. "You don't know anything. I know you're smart enough to run this crew, which means you're smart enough to pass my class." She turned her back on him, the ultimate sign of either trust or contempt. "Unless you want to prove everyone right. That you're just another statistic. Another waste of potential." She wrote her name on the board. Slow. Deliberate. Each letter perfect, despite the chalk trembling in her grip. Not from fear. From the effort of keeping her other hand from forming the fist that could shatter Mason's jaw in 3 places. Behind her, she heard movement. Whispers. The pack recalculating. "Yo?" "Mason." A new voice. One of his crew? Maybe we should. Shut up, Colton. But the fire had dimmed in Mason's voice. Madison turned around. Half the class had actually sat down, not in the right seats. But progress. Mason still stood. But his posture had shifted, defensive now, uncertain. One rule in my classroom, she said. Respect. You give it. You get it. You don't. She let the sentence hang. Or what? Brooklyn challenged. But even she sounded less sure. Madison walked to Brooklyn's desk, leaned down, whispered something only the girl could hear. Brooklyn's eyes went wide. The lighter clattered to the floor. How did you? Brooklyn's voice came out strangled. Like I said, I do my homework. Madison straightened. Now, who can tell me what 8 times 7 equals? Silence. Anyone? Come on. This is 6th grade math. A hand raised in the back. Tentative. A skinny kid with glasses held together by duct tape. 56? Excellent. What's your name? Ethan. Ethan Williams. Well, Ethan Williams. You just earned your first participation point. Madison drew a simple chart on the board. Everyone starts at 0. Participation gets you points. Disruption loses them. End of the semester. Highest points gets a prize. What kind of prize? Colton asked, forgetting to sound tough. Madison's smile turned genuine for the first time. That depends on how much you impress me. She spent the next 20 minutes teaching. Actually teaching. Basic algebra. But she made it feel like she was sharing secrets. How to calculate interest on street loans. How to figure out if you're getting cheated on a deal. Real-world math for kids who lived in the real world. Some listened. Some didn't. Mason hadn't sat down. But he hadn't interrupted either. He watched her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. The bell rang. Students started filing out. But slower than the usual stampede. Mason? Madison called out. A word. His crew looked at him. He waved them off. I'm good. When they were alone, Madison pulled out a folder. Your standardized test scores from middle school. You tested in the 98th percentile for mathematical reasoning. So you're brilliant. And you're wasting it. She closed the folder. I'm offering you a deal. You help me get through to them. I help you get into college. College? He laughed. But it sounded hollow. People like me don't go to college. People like you run Fortune 500 companies. If they apply themselves. She shouldered her bag. Think about it. She left him standing there, staring at the folder she'd intentionally left behind. In the hallway, Madison finally let herself breathe. Her hands shook now, really shook. Because for a moment in there, when Mason had challenged her, she'd felt it, the old Madison, the one who'd solved problems with fists and fear, the one who'd interesting technique. She spun around. Vice Principal Harrison leaned against the lockers, arms crossed, mid-40s. Silver fox type, who probably thought his smile worked on everyone. Jim? She nodded. Just establishing boundaries. By threatening students? I didn't threaten anyone. Brooklyn Chen looked terrified. Madison shrugged. I simply reminded her that her scholarship to Jefferson depends on maintaining a clean disciplinary record, public information. Harrison studied hair. You're not like the others we've hired. Is that a problem? Depends. He pushed off the lockers. Keep them in line. I don't care if you teach them yoga, but if I get one parent complaint, you won't. He walked away, but Madison caught him, glancing back. Suspicious. Good. Let him wonder. The rest of the day blurred. 3 more classes, each easier than room 317. Word had already spread. The new math teacher was different. Crazy. Some said, dangerous, whispered others. Madison sat in her empty classroom after final bell, staring at her hands. No blood under the nails anymore. No scars on the knuckles. Laser removal had taken care of those, but the memories. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Yellow moon rises when the dragon wakes. Her blood turned to ice. That code. After 7 years. That impossible code. She deleted the message. But her hands shook worse. Now, they'd found her. After all this time, all this distance, they'd found her. A knock on the door made her jump. Ethan Williams stood there, backpack dragging on the floor. Miss Harper? I wanted to thank you. For today, nobody usually notices when I answer. The dragon retreated. The teacher smiled. You're welcome. Ethan, you're smart. Don't let anyone tell you different. He beamed and scurried away. Madison gathered her things, trying to ignore how her car keys felt too light, how every shadow could hide a familiar face. She'd run from that life, changed her name, built something new, but the past had a way of, "Yo, Miss H?" She turned. Mason stood in the doorway. "Folder in hand. I read it," he said. "My scores. I forgot that I could be smart," she supplied. "Yeah." He shifted his weight. "Look, I'm not saying I'm gonna become some teacher's pet or nothing, but maybe we could talk about that college thing. Monday, after school. Bring your transcripts." He nodded and left. Madison watched him go, something warm unfurling in her chest. Maybe she could do this. Maybe she could be this person. This teacher. This. Her phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. This time it was a photo. Her old crew, standing outside Jefferson High. Current photo, she could see today's date on the newspaper, one held. The message below made her stomach drop. "Little dragon thinks she can hide in a classroom, teaching cubs when she should be leading tigers? The jade serpent remembers its debts? And you owe blood." Madison's hand crushed the phone. Actually crushed it. The screen cracking under pressure. She didn't realize she'd applied. 7 years ago, she'd betrayed the Jade Serpent Syndicate, testified against them, put half the leadership in prison. The other half had scattered, gone underground. She'd thought they'd forgotten, thought her new identity was perfect. She'd thought wrong. A sound in the hallway. Footsteps. Too heavy for a student, too measured for a janitor. Madison's body moved before her mind caught up, sliding behind the door, hand reaching for a weapon that wasn't there anymore. The footsteps passed, just security doing rounds. She forced herself to relax, to breathe, to remember she was Madison Harper now. Math teacher, not Jade Dragon, not the serpent's deadliest enforcer, not the woman who'd... Another buzz. Her cracked phone somehow still working. This time, a video. Her students, Mason and his crew, walking home, Brooklyn at the bus stop, Ethan in the library, all filmed today, all unaware they were being watched. The message was clear. We can reach them anytime. The final text made her decision. Tomorrow, midnight, the old warehouse on 5th. Come alone, or they learn what their teacher really is. What she really did. Madison set the phone down carefully. The dragon wasn't just stirring now, it was roaring, because they'd made a mistake. A fatal one. They'd threatened her kids. She'd spent 7 years building this identity, 7 years healing, growing, becoming someone better. Someone who helped instead of hurt, someone who taught instead of tortured. But if the Jade Serpents thought she'd grown soft, they were about to learn otherwise. Madison Harper was a math teacher. She'd proven that today, she'd reached kids everyone else had given up on, made a connection, started something good. But Madison Harper was also something else. Something the Jade Serpents had apparently forgotten in their hunger for revenge. She was the woman who'd brought down their entire organization. And if they wanted the dragon, they were about to get her. She pulled out her backup phone, dialed a number she hadn't used in years. It rang once. "I wondered when you'd call," the voice said. Female. Familiar. Saw the news about Jefferson High's new teacher. Nice cover. Madison. Sierra. Madison closed her eyes. "I need a favor. The kind that requires my particular skills. The serpents found me." Silence. Then, "How many?" "Unknown. But they're watching my students." "Students?" A laugh. "God. You really did go straight. All right. Dragon. What's the play?" Madison looked at the cracked phone, at the threats, at the photo of her kids walking home, unaware of the danger circling them. "They want a meeting. Tomorrow night. It's a trap. I know." Madison's reflection in the window didn't look like a teacher anymore. It looked like something far more dangerous. "That's what I'm counting on. You've been out of the game for 7 years. My Madison, you sure you still got it?" Madison thought about Mason's face when she'd recited his history. Brooklyn's fear when she'd whispered her secret. The way her body had moved, ready for violence. Muscle memory intact, despite years of dormancy. Only one way to find out? "I'll make some calls. Get eyes on your kids. Nobody touches them. Thanks. Sierra, don't thank me yet. If the serpents are really back..." Sierra's voice turned grim. "This is just the beginning." Madison ended the call, started gathering her things for real this time. Tomorrow she'd teach algebra and geometry, help kids see their potential, be the person she'd worked so hard to become. But tomorrow night, the dragon would wake, and God help anyone who stood between her and her students. She locked the classroom door, fingers lingering on the handle. Room 317. The room where everything had started, where Mason Rodriguez had challenged her, and she'd won through words instead of violence. Where she'd proven she could be more than her past. Now she had to prove she could protect their future. The hallway stretched before her, empty and full of shadows. Somewhere in the city, the Jade Serpents were planning, watching, waiting. Let them come. Madison Harper was a teacher, but she'd been forged in darker fires than they could imagine. And if they thought threatening children would make her weak, they were about to learn how wrong they were. Because there was one thing more dangerous than a dragon protecting Hair Young. The parking lot was nearly empty when she reached her car, just her sensible Honda Civic and a few others. She did a casual sweep, another habit that had never died, and noticed the black sedan parked across the street. Engine running, tinted windows. Sloppy. The old serpents would never have been so obvious. Madison got in her car, adjusting the rearview mirror to keep the sedan in sight. They followed her home, maintaining a careful distance but not careful enough. She cataloged details automatically. License plate, make and model, the way the car sat, low armor plating or just heavy occupants. Her apartment building came into view. Nothing fancy. Teacher's salary didn't allow for much, but it was in a good neighborhood, close to school. Safe for. The sedan accelerated. Madison's hands moved without thought, yanking the wheel hard left as the sedan tried to ram her. Tires screamed. Her Civic fishtailed but held. The sedan overshot. Brakes locking up. She could run, floor it, and disappear into the city. Instead, Madison pulled into her parking spot like nothing had happened, got out, locked her car, started walking to her building's entrance with her teacher bag over one shoulder. The sedan doors opened. 4 men stepped out, all muscle. No, subtlety. Definitely not old-school serpents. These were hired help, cheap labor. Miss Harper? The biggest one called out. Russian accent. Neck tattoos. Someone wants to talk to you? I have papers to grade. Madison kept walking. Tell them to make an appointment. They moved to surround her. Classic intimidation formation. It might have worked on a normal teacher. Madison sighed. Set her bag down carefully. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you one chance to walk away. They laughed. Of course they did. She was 5'6", 120 pounds, wearing a cardigan and sensible flats. What could she possibly? The first one reached for her. Grab and drag. Probably. Amateur hour. Madison moved like water, like wind, like all the things her grandfather had taught her before bullets stole him away. The Russian's grab became her lever. His momentum became her weapon. He hit the pavement face first, arm bent at an angle that would require surgery. The second came fast, throwing a haymaker that would have decapitated a normal person. Madison wasn't there anymore. She was behind him, his foot sweeping his knee. He dropped, and her elbow found that sweet spot where neck meets shoulder. Instant unconsciousness. The third actually knew how to fight. Some boxing, maybe military training. He kept his guard up, threw calculated jabs. Madison caught his wrist on the third jab, twisted, pulled, threw him into the fourth man who was pulling a knife. They went down in a tangle of limbs and curses. Total elapsed time, 8 seconds. Madison picked up her bag, stepped over the groaning bodies, and walked to her building. Behind her, car door slammed. The sedan peeled out, leaving their fallen comrades behind. She made it to her apartment, locked the door, and finally let herself shake. Not from fear, from adrenaline, from the intoxicating rush of violence that she'd sworn she'd left behind. Her phone cracked. One buzzed. Impressive. But that was just a test. The real fun starts tomorrow night. Madison deleted the message, went to her closet, pushed aside the sensible teacher clothes, and reached for the panel she'd installed but never opened. Behind it, wrapped in oilcloth, waiting like sleeping serpents, were the tools of her former trade. She closed the panel without touching them. Not yet. Maybe not at all. She'd try it the teacher's way first. With words. With intelligence. with the skills she'd built over 7 years of redemption, but if they pushed her, if they threatened her kids again, Madison made dinner, graded papers, prepared tomorrow's lesson plan, normal teacher things, except every few minutes, her eyes would drift to the closet, to the past waiting behind that panel, to the woman she used to be, no, the woman she still was, just buried under civilization's veneer. The dragon had never left. It had only been sleeping. And tomorrow night, the jade serpents would remember why they used to fear her name. Madison fell asleep at her desk, red pen still in hand, surrounded by the normal life she'd built. But her dreams were painted in different colors, in blood and shadow and the particular sound a body makes when it hits concrete from 3 stories up. She woke to sunlight and bird songs, the nightmare fading. Another day, another chance to be Madison Harper, math teacher, another step away from the dragon. 24 hours until midnight, 24 hours to figure out how to save her students without losing herself. 24 hours to prepare for war while teaching algebra. The cracked phone buzzed one last time. A single emoji. A serpent eating its own tail. The eternal cycle. What goes around, comes around. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Basic physics. Basic math. Basic truth. Madison Harper smiled. And it wasn't a teacher's smile. Class was about to be in session. Madison Harper stood before her bathroom mirror at 5:30 a.m., counting the scars she'd hidden for 7 years. Each one, a memory. Each one a lesson. Today might add new ones. Her phone buzzed. Sierra, got eyes on all your kids. Mason Rodriguez has 2 shadows. Brooklyn Chen has 1. Even that Ethan kid has protection. Subtle? Ghost work. They'll never know. Sierra posed. You sure about tonight? Madison traced the thin white line across her ribs. Knife fight in Bangkok. The dragon's first kill. She'd been 15. They made it personal when they threatened children. That's not what I meant. Madison understood. Sierra was asking if she could come back from this. If Madison Harper, the teacher, could survive the dragon's resurrection, guess we'll find out. She dressed carefully. Not in teacher clothes yet. In workout gear that moved like shadow, that wouldn't restrict if she needed to. No. Today she was a teacher. Only a teacher. Until midnight. The school parking lot was fuller than usual. News vans. Police cars. Madison's stomach dropped. Vice Principal Harrison met her at the door. We have a situation. Her mind raced. Had the serpents already? Someone leaked video of yesterday's incident. You taking down 4 men in your parking lot. He showed her his phone. Grainy security footage. Her destroying the Russian crew in 8 seconds flat. Care to explain? Madison's teacher mask slipped on like armor. They tried to mug me. I defended myself. By hospitalizing 4 men? With martial arts that would make Jackie Chan jealous? I took some self-defense classes. Harrison's look could have peeled paint. Right. And I'm secretly Batman. He lowered his voice. Look, I don't care what you did before. But this attention? It's not good for the school. I'll handle it. You better. The school board's already asking questions. Madison made it to her classroom 15 minutes before first period. Mason was already there. Sitting in the front row. Actually sitting in a chair. Properly. Saw the video. He said without preamble. That was you, wasn't it? Mason. Those moves. The way you read us yesterday. You ain't just some teacher. Madison set down her bag. Chose her words carefully. Everyone has a past. What matters is what we do with our present. That why they're following us? Hair blood chilled? What? Come on. You think we're stupid? Brooklyn noticed her tail an hour ago. Colton made his guy before breakfast. Mason leaned forward. Someone's watching us. Someone's watching you. And now there's video of you dropping dudes like some kind of ninja. The door opened. Brooklyn entered with 3 others from Mason's crew. Then Ethan, looking confused and scared. More students trickled in, all talking about the video. Madison made a decision. Lock the door. Brooklyn did. Her movements quick and efficient. Phones on my desk. All of them. They hesitated. Then complied. Even Mason. Madison went to the window, checking angles. Then she turned to face her students. Her kids. The ones the serpents had threatened. You're right. I'm not just a teacher. The words felt like stepping off a cliff. 7 years ago. I was. Something else. Someone else. I left that life behind. Changed my name. Became a teacher because I wanted to help kids instead of... She stopped. The point is, my past has found me, and because of that, you're all in danger. From who? Brooklyn demanded. People who want to hurt me? Who think they can use you to do it? The guys following us. Mason said. It wasn't a question. No. Those are friends. Protection. The real threat comes tonight. So what? You're gonna fight them? Colton asked. Like in the video? Madison almost laughed. If only it were that simple. I'm going to try talking first. And if that doesn't work? This from Ethan? Voice small but steady. Madison met his eyes. Then I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe. Silence stretched like a held breath. Mason stood up. What do you need from us? I need you to trust me. To stick together today. To go straight home after school. And stay there. Lock your doors. Don't answer for anyone you don't know. That's it? Brooklyn sounded almost disappointed. We just hide while you face whatever psychos are after you? Yes. Nah. Mason shook his head. That ain't how we do things. You stood up for us yesterday. When Goro was ready to throw us away, you had our backs. Now we got yours. This isn't a school fight. Mason, these people are dangerous, lady. You don't know where we come from. What we've seen? He looked around the room. Anyone here scared of some wannabe gangsters? A chorus of no and hell no filled the room. Madison felt something break inside her chest. Not shatter. Melt. These kids. These throwaway children everyone had given up on. Were ready to stand with her. I can't let you. With all due respect. Miss H. Brooklyn interrupted. You can't stop us. We're 317. We're your kids. And nobody messes with our teacher. The bell rang. Madison gave them back their phones. Unlocked the door. Students from other classes filed in, confused by the energy in the room. Regular lesson today. Madison announced. Chapter 12. Algebraic equations. But as she taught, she noticed things. Mason's crew had positioned themselves strategically, watching doors and windows. Brooklyn had moved her desk to give her clear sightlines. Even Ethan had shifted to where he could see anyone approaching. They were protecting her. The dragon inside wanted to roar at the irony, the deadliest enforcer in Jade Serpent history being guarded by teenagers, but Madison Harper, the teacher, felt something else entirely. Pride. The day crawled by. Class. The tension ratcheted higher. Word had spread. The new math teacher was some kind of secret badass. Kids who'd never paid attention suddenly hung on every word, looking for hints of the warrior beneath the cardigan. During lunch, Sierra texted, "Warehouse is hot. Counted 12 so far. They're not playing." 12. More than expected. The serpents really wanted her dead. Abort? Sierra added. Negative. But increase protection on the kids. Already done. Got a surprise for you too. Northwest corner of the school. Black pickup. Madison glanced out the window. The truck sat like a shadow made steel. She knew that vehicle, knew who'd be inside. You called him? You're walking into hell? Figured you might want the devil on your side. After school, Madison found Mason's crew waiting by her car. Thought we told you to go home. Yeah. About that. Mason shrugged. We talked. We're coming with you. Absolutely not. You can't stop us from following. Might as well let us help. You're 17 years old. So? You telling me you were older when you started? Whatever it was you did? He had her there. The dragon had been born when she was 15. Baptized in blood and necessity. This isn't your fight. You made it ours when you gave a damn. Brooklyn stepped forward. When you looked at us and saw more than just problems to be solved. When you called us your kids. Madison's throat tightened. I can't protect you if... We're not asking you to protect us. Mason said quietly. We're asking you to trust us. Like you asked us to trust you. A car horn honked. The black pickup flashed its lights. Madison made another decision. Maybe a terrible one. But these kids had already made their choice. Fine. But you follow my rules. Every single one. No exceptions. They nodded eagerly. First rule. You run when I say run. No heroics. New questions. Deal? Mason agreed quickly. Too quickly. Madison walked to the pickup. The window rolled down, revealing a face she hadn't seen in 3 years. Hello? Little sister, Phoenix said. Not her real brother. Her brother in arms. The only other person to survive the serpent's implosion. Heard you needed backup. I need you to watch the kids. Phoenix looked past her at Mason's crew. They know what you are? They know enough. And they're still here. He smiled. You always did inspire loyalty. Even when you were painting the streets red. That's not who I am anymore. No? Then why are we here? He opened the door. Stepped out. 6'5" of scarred muscle and barely contained violence. Why did Sierra call me? Why are you walking into a trap that would make the old dragon salivate? Madison didn't answer. Couldn't. Because the truth was too complicated. She wasn't the dragon anymore. But she wasn't just Madison Harper either. She was something in between. Something new. Northwest entrance to the warehouse. Phoenix continued. There's a maintenance tunnel. Leads to the old offices. That's where they'll be waiting. How do you... I've been watching them for 6 months. Ever since they started reforming, was going to handle it myself. But... He shrugged. Figured you deserved first shot. I don't want shots. I want them to leave my kids alone. Phoenix laughed. When has the Jade Serpent ever been reasonable? They want blood? Madison, yours specifically. They blame you for everything. I know. And you're still going to try talking? Yes. He shook his head. The dragon would have already painted 3 safe houses red by now. I'm not the dragon. No. Phoenix agreed. You're something more dangerous. You're the dragon with something to lose. Night fell like a hammer. Madison stood in her apartment, staring at the hidden panel. Behind it waited the tools of her former trade, weapons that had tasted blood, gear that had seen her through 100 missions. She opened it. Inside, vacuum-sealed and patient, lay the dragon's scales. Black tactical gear that moved like water, ceramic blades that could ghost through metal detectors. The gun she'd used to... No. Madison pushed that memory down. Selected carefully. Just the essentials. Just enough to... Her phone rang. Mason. We're in position. Northwest corner like your boy said. You were supposed to go home. Yeah. Well, you were supposed to be just a math teacher. Guess we're both liars. Madison almost smiled. Stay with Phoenix. Whatever you hear, whatever happens, you stay with him. What if? Promise me. A pause. Fine. We stay put. But Miss Hay, you better come back. We got a test next week. And I actually studied for once. I'll be there. You better be. Madison geared up. Each piece of equipment a memory. Ache weapon a ghost. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't see the teacher anymore. But she didn't quite see the dragon either. Something new. Something forged from both. The warehouse district at midnight looked like a mouthful of broken teeth. Empty buildings. Shadows deep enough to drown in. The perfect place for an ambush. Madison parked 3 blocks away. Moved through the darkness like she'd been born to it. Because she had been the dragon's first gift. The ability to become shadow. The warehouse loomed ahead. 12 hostiles. Sierra had said. Probably more by now. The serpents loved their dramatic gestures. She circled wide, checking positions. 2 on the roof. 3 at the main entrance. More inside. Positions unknown. The northwest entrance was clear. Too clear. They wanted her to use it. Madison smiled. The teacher might have fallen for it, but the dragon knew better. She scaled the east wall instead. Silent as death. Found a broken skylight and slipped through. The warehouse floor spread below her. Crates and machinery providing cover. And there, in the center, under a pool of harsh light, a chair, empty, waiting, theatrical. The new serpents had learned nothing. Movement in the shadows. She counted. 8 visible. 4 more somewhere. Plus the outside guards. In the old days, she'd have killed them all. 12 bodies. 15 minutes. Maybe less. Tonight, Madison dropped from the rafters, not in the center where they expected, but behind their line, where the shadows were thickest. Little dragon comes home. A voice echoed through the space. Male. Unfamiliar. Though I hear you prefer Miss Harper now. Madison didn't respond. Moved position immediately. Rule 1. Never stay where you speak. 7 years you've hidden. Playing teacher. Pretending those hands haven't snapped necks. That you haven't blank. I came to talk. Madison interrupted from a new position. Call off your dogs. Leave my students alone. This is between us. Laughter. Everything is between us. You destroyed the Jade Serpent. Sent our leaders to prison. Cost us millions. Did you think we'd forget? I think you're smart enough to know revenge is bad business. This isn't about business. Movement to her left. Madison shifted, melted deeper into shadow. It's about justice. Balance. You took everything from us. You took everything from innocent people. I just returned the favor. Innocent? The voice turned ugly. No one in our world is innocent. Not even your precious students. Madison went still. Cold. That tone, that specific inflection on students? Oh yes. The voice continued. We know all about them. Mason Rodriguez. Father, in prison. Brother dead. Already halfway to joining the life. Brooklyn Chen. Runaway. Cells, homework, answers to survive. Even little Ethan Williams. You know his older brother cooks meth? They're children. So were you when you killed your first Mark. Age means nothing in our world. This isn't their world, isn't it? You brought them into it the moment you entered their lives. The moment you decided to play savior. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Converging on her position. Madison moved, but something was wrong. They were tracking her, predicting her patterns. How? The lights blazed on. All of them. The warehouse lit up like noon. She stood exposed between 2 rows of crates. 12 serpents in a perfect circle, and stepping into the light, the voice's owner, Madison's blood went ice. She knew that face, those eyes, that particular smile that promised pain. Hello, little sister. Viper said, not Phoenix. Her actual brother, the one she'd thought died in the fire, the one she'd mourned for 7 years. Surprised? The world tilted. You're dead. I saw you. You saw what I wanted you to see. He stepped closer. Still had that scar she'd given him during training. Still moved like a cobra. Just like I saw what you did. Betraying the family. Destroying everything grandfather built. Grandfather was a monster. Grandfather was a visionary. And you killed him. He was going to murder children. A whole school. For what? Territory? For power? For respect? For the family? Viper's hand went to his weapon. Things you never understood. I understood perfectly. That's why I stopped it. By becoming a rat, an informant, by selling us out to the cops, by doing the right thing. Viper laughed. Actually laughed. The right thing? You killed 17 of our own that night? 17 members of your family. They made their choice. So did you. And now your new family pays for it. Madison's body coiled. Touch them and what? You'll kill me? Like you killed the others? Like you killed grandfather? Viper smiled. Go ahead. Show them who you really are. Show your precious students what their teacher is capable of. That's when she heard it. Electronic hum. Cameras. They were recording this. Live stream. Viper confirmed. Started the moment you entered. Your students are watching. Along with the school board, the police, everyone. Madison's mind raced. Every move she made would be seen. Every violence witnessed. Madison Harper, the teacher, would die tonight. One way or another. Unless you want the dragon? Madison straightened. Let the shadows fall away. Fine. She reached into her jacket. Serpents tensed. Weapons rising. But she didn't pull a weapon. She pulled her teacher's ID, held it up to the nearest camera. My name is Madison Harper. I teach math at Jefferson High. 7 years ago, I was someone else. Someone worse. I was Jade Dragon. Enforcer for the Jade Serpent Syndicate. What are you doing? Viper hissed. Something I should have done years ago. Madison faced the camera fully. I killed people. 17 confirmed. Maybe more. I did terrible things in the name of family. Of loyalty. Of a twisted code that put power over innocent lives. The serpents looked at each other, confused. This wasn't the script. But 7 years ago, I learned our grandfather planned to attack Washington Elementary. A false flag operation to frame rivals. Hundreds of children would have died. Her voice didn't shake. The truth. Finally. So I stopped it. I gave evidence to the FBI. I testified, and when the family came for revenge, I fought. I killed. I became the monster they'd made me to be. Shut up, Viper snarled. I ran. Changed my name. Became a teacher. Not for redemption, some things can't be redeemed. But because I wanted to build something instead of destroy, to help kids find better paths than the one I walked. She dropped the ID, faced her brother. I am Madison Harper. I am a teacher. And yes, I was the dragon. She smiled. And it was neither teacher nor killer. It was just true. I'm both. I'm neither. I'm something new. And if you want to hurt my kids, you'll find out exactly what that means. Viper's face contorted. You think confession absolves you? You think those brats will still respect you after seeing what you are? I think they'll make their own choice, like I'm making mine. Madison spread her hands. I came here to talk, to find peace, but if you want war, brother, remember, I'm the one who lived. Silence stretched taut. Then, from the shadows behind the serpents, she's also the one who has backup. Phoenix stepped into the light. Behind him, impossibly, Mason and his crew, armed with nothing but baseball bats and attitude. Told you to stay put? Madison said mildly. Yeah. Well, Mason shrugged. We don't follow orders good. Ask any teacher. This is touching. Viper sneered. The dragon and her cubs? Should we kill them first? Let you watch? Try it. Brooklyn suggested. See what happens. Madison saw it then. The shift in Viper's eyes, the decision made, his hand moving for his weapon. Time slowed. The teacher wanted to scream a warning. To protect her kids. The dragon wanted to paint the warehouse red. To end every threat. Madison Harper did neither. She moved, not to attack, not to kill, but to shield. The gun came up, the barrel aligned. Madison stepped between death and her students. The shot was impossibly loud. Madison felt the impact, high chest. Right side. The familiar burn of lead meeting flesh. She didn't fall. No. Mason's voice. Young. Terrified. Madison caught Viper's wrist as he tried to adjust aim. Gentle. Controlled. The dragon would have shattered it. Madison Harper just redirected. The gun clattered away. I'm done killing family, she told him. Even you. Viper's eyes went wide. You? The warehouse erupted. Phoenix moved like his namesake. All fire and fury. The serpents scattered. Some running, some fighting. Mason's crew tried to surge forward, but Madison's voice cut through the chaos. Stay back. That's an order. For once, they listened. The fight was brief, brutal. Phoenix handled 4, Madison, even wounded, dropped 3 more without permanent damage. The rest fled, leaving just the siblings, teacher and criminal, sister and brother, dragon and Viper. You could have killed me, Viper said. Blood ran from his nose. The old you would have? The old me was alone. Madison pressed her hand to the bullet wound. Red seeped between her fingers. The new me has algebra tests to grade. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. Go. She told him. Disappear. Find a better life. Or don't. But if you come near my school, my kids, my life again, you'll kill me? No. I'll do worse. Madison smiled. I'll have them write you a letter about how your life choices hurt them. Brooklyn's very eloquent when she's disappointed. Viper stared at her. Something broke in his expression. The hatred cracking. Showing the lost boy underneath. You really changed. We all can. Even you. He backed away. Stopped at the door. The others won't stop. The old guard. They'll keep coming. Then I'll keep teaching them the same lesson. He left. Madison finally let herself sway. Strong arms caught her. Phoenix on one side. Mason on the other. Hospital. Phoenix ordered. School first. Madison countered. You need a doctor. Miss H? Ethan said. Tears ran down his face. Please. Fine. But someone grabbed my lesson plans from the car. I'm not missing tomorrow's class. They looked at her like she was insane. Maybe she was. But as they helped her outside, as the sirens grew louder, as her students clustered around her like protective cubs, Madison Harper knew exactly who she was. A teacher who used to be a killer who chose to teach, a dragon who learned to nurture instead of burn. She was contradiction, made flesh, redemption in progress, proof that the past didn't have to define the future. Also, she was bleeding a lot and probably needed that hospital. Miss H? Mason asked as they loaded her into Phoenix's truck. That stuff you said about killing people, all true, and we're just okay with that? Madison met his eyes. That's your choice. I won't blame you if, my dad killed someone. That's why he's inside. Mason shrugged. Difference is, you stopped. You changed. You became someone who gives a damn about kids. Everyone else threw away. We all got history. Brooklyn added, what matters is what we do next. Right? That's what you taught us. The hospital was a blur. Police questions. FBI agents who recognized her name. Phoenix standing guard, her students refusing to leave the waiting room. When she woke, they were still there. All of them, even ones who hadn't been at the warehouse. Word had spread. Jefferson High's most dangerous class was protecting their teacher. "Don't you have school?" Madison croaked. "It's Saturday, Miss H." Ethan informed her, "But also, we figured you might need these." He held up a stack of papers. "Their homework, completed. Brooklyn helped us with the hard parts." Madison might have cried. Just a little. Principal Harrison arrived that afternoon. "The school board wants you fired. The parents want you arrested. The media's having a field day." He sat down heavily. "And I want to know what the hell I do now." "You accept my resignation," Madison said simply. "Find them a real teacher. Someone clean. Someone. We'll walk." Mason interrupted. "Every one of us." She goes. "We go." "That's not how school works." Harrison pointed out. "Watch us," Brooklyn challenged. Harrison looked at Madison. "You've created monsters." "No. She created students who give a damn." Phoenix corrected from the corner. "That's harder." In the end, the school board voted. Madison kept her job by 1 vote. Probationary status. Mandatory counseling. Full disclosure, to parents who could opt their kids out of her classes. None did. The next Monday, Madison Harper walked into room 317. Bandaged but breathing. The dragon tamed but not dead. The teacher triumphant but scarred. Her students applauded. Not because she'd fought, not because she'd survived, but because she'd come back. "All right. Settle down," she said. "We've got a test Wednesday, chapter 12 through 14. And Mason, I better see your work on problem 17. Already done. Miss H, use that formula you showed us. The one about calculating interest on illegal loans. Good. Maybe apply it to legal loans instead? Where's the fun in that?" Madison smiled, turned to write on the board. Behind her, she felt them watching. Her kids, her pack, her redemption. The dragon slept. Content. The teacher taught. Fulfilled. And Madison Harper existed in the space between. Proof that people could change. That monsters could choose to nurture. That the past was just prologue. That every day was a chance to solve for X. Where X equals the person you choose to become. Class was in session. And for the first time in 7 years, Madison Harper was exactly where she belonged.